Over the next 35 to 40 minutes, you guys are going to learn really a lot about me. How did I achieve what I've achieved, and how does my story look? Now, I really thought about a lot if I want to make this video or not, but I came to the conclusion of if I want people to listen to me, they should know where I'm coming from and they should know my beginnings. Now, on certain things, I'm not going to dive too deep into it. I guess I could save it for future videos, but really this channel I want to dedicate to motivating people, helping people get better, and a lot of things for just other people, not exactly myself. But today's video is how did I rise to be the strongest 17-year-old ever, and how was my journey along there, right? Where did I start? A lot of people ask me all the time, like, what made you one day just wake up and want to do this? So I'm going to be answering all these questions. And to start with that, we're going to start at the bottom of the timeline. I'm really not going to dive too much into like early childhood, I guess, but I'm just going to give the overview. So the first time I feel like I touched a weight, I had to have been at like maybe 5 years old. My dad always had a gym in our basement, right? We had, at the time, it was an unfinished basement, and my dad just had, it was dumbbells. When I was really young, it was literally just dumbbells, a cable machine, a bench press, and that was it, man. That was really it. And my dad has always been a huge influence on my lifting, and he's a really big guy. If anybody's ever seen him from some of my younger videos too, I mean, this dude was jacked. So, he got older, and now he's like almost 60, right? So he might not be as jacked as he is in his prime, but this dude was jacked, right? And all he used for that to maintain this was, at the time, literally a bench press, a cable machine, and some dumbbells that only went up to 40. And then he had a pair of 110s. But that was it, man. That was really it. And so what I learned from my dad from an early age is it's not so much about how pretty it looks or anything like that, but it's really about how much effort that you put in. And this will go up until I'm about 8 years old. And when I'm 8 years old is probably when I bench press a bar for the first time. Now, I'm not sure about any of these dates or anything like this, but I do believe I was about 8 years old when I bench pressed a bar for the first time. Now, my dad often told me when I was younger, this super funny story right here, why don't you ever come down to work out with me? And it was just weird because I was kind of young, so I didn't really want to work out. And it was just never like really like that intriguing to me when I was really like young, 8 years old, right? How could my dad, we had one mirror down there too. There was just one mirror they put up against the wall. Like, how could my dad, he'd watch the stock market too. How would he just sit down there for all these hours just working out, looking at the stock market and like refreshing his phone, right? I'm an 8-year-old kid at this time. I don't know much, right? So I was never really that into lifting, right? And so my dad used to always tell me, how come you never come down and work out with me? And, I'm 8, he wasn't like saying this in a mean way, but I just like, I don't know. I don't know. He's like, all right, well, if you want to get better at football, it'd be cool. You come work out sometimes. I never really came to work out, It wasn't super big with me like that. And that started to change once I became about 10, right? So I was 10, 11 years old, going into sixth grade about. And this is when I started working out at nighttime, like maybe twice a week, just by myself. And I just go in the basement, grab the dumbbells, and just do like curls. And then there was a push down machine. My dad showed me when I was young because I was never tall enough to actually like really work it. Put my knees on the push down machine, and I would have to like pull it down because it's like a lat pull down too. So I wasn't tall enough to stand up and get it. I had to be on my knees while doing tricep push downs, right? But those are like the only two things that I really did. I didn't really know anything else. I did some shoulders because my dad showed me how to do shoulders, but I was actually working out by myself when I was like 10, 11 years old. And now fast forward up until the time I'm about 12. When I was 12, my best friend's dad died. And I remember, I think I was either 12 or 13. I'm pretty sure I was 12 though. I remember coming down, and that was the first time I ever had a really intense workout because I really felt bad. I thought everybody was joking that his dad died. And this was actually my best friend, right? We were always neck and neck on the football field, right? And it was a lot of respect. And hearing that his dad died, that really did something to me. That was actually really sad. I was like, wow, this is a really good friend to me. And I remember going down, and that was the first time I had a real intense workout. I did bicep curls until I actually felt it in my bicep. I'm like 12 years old, right? Now we're going to fast forward, or we're going to actually go back a little bit, right? So a little different story. That happening about springtime of seventh grade. Yeah, springtime of seventh grade. We're going to go into winter of seventh grade real quick. So take a step back. And we're going to go to the first time that I ever benched 135. Another story. We're sitting in science class, and this kid tells me, because I was always a bigger kid, everybody wanted to kind of get their up on me. Not like that, but just everybody wanted to just be stronger than me, I guess. And this kid walks up to me, and he goes, Blake, I just benched 135 yesterday with my dad. I swear I'm not joking. I was like, oh, did you have a video? Believe it or not, in seventh grade, we had phones. But I was like, oh, did you get a video? He's like, no. And he's like, dude, but I swear I did it. Like, I actually did it. And all I could think about the rest of the day was, holy crap, this kid benched like 135. Like, I don't think I could do that. Like, seriously, I don't think I could bench 135. Like, wow, like he benched 135. Like, this was like mind blowing to me. I get home from school, I tell my dad, this kid just told me that he benched 135, right? And there was a similar instance with this where this kid was lying before, where I told him I benched like 95 and he said he benched 115. For some reason, I have insane memory with all these moments about bench press. I don't know why, but this was like, that was even a couple of years before that, where I told him I benched like 95. He said he benched like 115. I was like, I know he's lying. But yeah, fast back into this moment. I told my dad, I was like, Dad, this kid benched like 135. He's like, well, he's probably lying, but you want to try? I was like, yeah, let's go down. So we go downstairs. I don't even know what my warm-ups were, but I remember telling my mom, we go upstairs, I tell my mom, hey mom, I'm going to try to bench 135 for the first time, one plate, right? It'd be cool if you could take a video because maybe one day I'd want to look back on this. And little did I forget, no, I'd be sitting in college right now here for powerlifting, and it's literally my life, right? Little did I know that. But I said, hey mom, do you think you could get a video of me benching this plate? So I take this off. It's like, it feels like insane, right? I'll probably weigh, at the time I was 12, I was probably like 170 pounds. But like holding 135 pounds in your arms when you're like 12, you're like, dude, this is like a ton of weight. Like, I'll never forget how heavy it is. My dad used to always tell me, and this is what I've carried into my lifting nowadays, is just because a weight feels heavy doesn't mean that your body can't do it. Your body may not be accustomed to it, but it doesn't mean that your body can't do it. And I see that now more than ever. I walk out a heavy squat, and I'm like, holy crap, is that freaking heavy? But I always keep my straight mind and say, just because it feels heavy doesn't mean that I can't do it. And I always keep that with all my lifts. And so I trusted his words. I took this 135 down. It was literally like, I didn't touch my chest. It was like right here. I struggled it back up, and I benched it. I benched 135. I couldn't believe it. I had it on video. I went to school the next day. I showed the kid the video. Here's my 135 bench. You know what this kid tells me? Oh, I didn't even do 135. I can't believe you actually did that. I just wanted to act cool. Like, he literally straight told me that after I went home and benched 135. I was like, there's no way, bro. There's no way. So fast forward to the end of 12. I ended up benching 155. I thought it was pretty cool. I got that on video too. But now we're going to fast forward kind of into like the next story, where it was the summer going into 8th grade. And, we had Snapchat, right? We're young. I Snapchat like all my friends. One of my friends was this girl, and she was hanging out with this dude who was a year older than us. For one of my friends now, right? Super funny how this comes around. And I tell him, like, why are you snapping me on her phone or something like that? Like, we're just like friends, right? We're in like 7th grade or going into 8th grade. He was going in his freshman year. And he's like, because I can. I was like, okay, how much you bench? Like, it literally as a joke, because I hadn't like thought anybody could bench more than me. And he's like, you tell me. I was like, all right, 155. And I remember his response. I benched 185 with a laughing emoji. Bro, the grind of 185 was on that day. I didn't like, bro, that was one of my origin stories. The name, he's AJ, right? He went to Lake Zurich. It was like kind of like a rival school against mine. It's so funny, super cool dude. Talk to him to this day. He's still lifting, right? He didn't obviously take it as serious as I did, but super funny story. That was like the next story. But then we push into 8th grade. right? I'm getting to 185. I got 200. That was huge. And then at the end of my 8th grade year, right before we went on COVID lockdown, I remember this girl. She's like, "Do you work out or something like that?" And I was like, "She's like, you work out like that?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm just trying to get stronger." She's like, "You don't look like you work out." Like that has stapled in my mind for I don't even know how long, to be honest. That is like another one of the origin stories. You don't look like you work out. Now I won't name drop this girl because it was just like genuine conversation. She probably didn't realize how much I thought about this, but like honestly, every day I did think about this. Right, I didn't look like I worked out. I was benching like 200 pounds. Most people who bench 200 pounds probably don't look like they work out either. But as a kid, I was a pretty big kid, so it is what it is. But right, I stuck with that. I kept that inside for a while. End of 13 years old, right? This is where I'm probably going to spend the majority of my time talking about my story. End of 13 years old, we finished the year on COVID lockdown. And this is when I really realized, hey, I like lifting a little bit, right? So right before I turned 14, it was probably like 5 days before I turned 14 or something like that. I benched 225, two plates at 13. Right now, this is one of the biggest flexes that I could have. Right, 405 at 15, 500 at 17, but 225 at 13. That's really like that was really a banger for me, to be honest. Like I love telling people, yeah, I benched two plates at 13. I still do. It was really a great flex for me. Not even flex, but just a great accomplishment. Mentioned 225 at 13 as somebody who didn't overwork out, overdo this, whatever. But we're getting deeper into this lockdown. We're going into freshman year of high school. And basically, I got bored, And when you get to a level of boredom, like a lot of people have experienced in COVID times, that when you get to a level of boredom, it's no longer exactly very fun. So this did become a harder time for me, I would say, because you're spending so much time alone. I have my parents, but I'm an only child, right? I wasn't around a ton of people my age unless we would get out and go to the park, just screw around. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, we'd go to the park, we'd screw around, but there was not a lot of time where I'd be around people my age. And so this actually became somewhat hard on me, right? It was a pretty difficult time. And what I found was I do like working out. I do like lifting weights. And at this time, we started to renovate my basement a little bit. We started changing my basement up. We started fixing it. Sorry. And I started like liking to work out. I was starting to lift with my dad. And what really sucks about my dad is his come down was literally like it wasn't fast, but he was getting like old to the point where he wasn't like lifting heavy anymore. And he still works out, but not like he used to when I was like a little boy. But like yeah, his come down and my like come up, it was like his slant wasn't like super like hard down, but my shot up, it was just like we never really had like any like true time lifting together. It was just magically like one day I was just definitely stronger than him. So yeah, but over this COVID time, I was lifting with my dad, and this is really what set it for me. And what I wanted a lot of people to understand and realize is lifting weights, it will never be to get back at someone. It'll never be like, a lot of people think like, I hate the term getting a heartbreak and going to the gym. Like I hate that. I'm so sorry, right? I'm sorry. If that's what the reason you're in the gym is because you're heartbroken, I'm sorry, right? But to be honest, I hate that term. And the reason behind that is because everybody's dealt with some crap, like right? Like your girlfriend broke up with you, your boyfriend cheated on you, whatever. Like everybody's dealt with some crap like that. But why doesn't everybody squat 1,000 pounds, right? Like how come, right? If it's get in the gym and get strong and show them, like I'm gonna show them, like why doesn't everybody squat 1,000 pounds? So I think it's more of the thing where one day you wake up and you're just like, I can't be like this anymore. And that was like me in the COVID time, right? I just can't be bored like this anymore. I can't just have like nothing to do anymore. And so I woke up and I just felt this raging passion for lifting weights, and it was super weird, like something I've never like felt before for any sport ever. I just had this crazy passion for just lifting these weights. It wasn't even like therapy. It wasn't like nothing like that. It wasn't to get back at anybody. It wasn't nothing. I just had this, it came from inside of me that I wanted to do this, and that's what I did, and that's like why it's gotten this far, and that's how I could tell that this is going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life, because I started it for me. When you start things for other people is when it never works out in the end. If you start things for other people, let me know how it works out, right? A lot of times when you do things for other people, it never works out very good. But one day I just woke up during COVID and I was like, I want to do this for me. A quote that I just found that I love: change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. And for me, the pain of staying the same and being bored in COVID, lockdown, whatever, was way worse than changing and trying something new and finding what I love. And that's what I did. I found lifting weights, and that's what I loved. And throughout COVID, man, I can't even tell you how many hours I spent in my basement just sitting alone, just like, my dad would work out with me and my dad would spot me, and my dad will forever be the best training partner ever. Seriously. My mom would always make me amazing food after I work out. My parents are 100% of the reason why I'm here right now, right? Literally, if my parents were not here, I would not be sitting in this situation, talking to a camera like this. Like, this is all like to my parents, right? And this is why I also say, like, it doesn't have to be like your dad was lifting weights. It doesn't have to be that your mom like always makes you food. Like, my mom fed me great my whole life, and so that's what also helped like my physique grow. I'm a kid. I'm not like jacked, but why I was getting stronger is because my mom always made me great food. But you don't have to be born into it like that. What you have to do is you have to go find those people that you can look at like that. And I've had many people like that. I've had many bodybuilding friends help me. One of the best examples is Nelson, the Brazilian bodybuilder who's been on this page, has talked to me about dieting before. And I've never really been that big into dieting other than eating what my mom talks about or what my mom gives me, right? And so hearing him talk and surrounding myself with people like him that can help me take things to the next level is what you need to do if you want to get stronger. And then another example of that would be my really good friend, Yanni, right? Lifting with him, I've never had a training partner that was stronger than me, and he's still stronger than me. Think about that, right? I never had a training partner stronger than me other than my dad for those couple years. So it was all about finding those people to surround yourself with. But we're going to take it back to where I was. So yeah, it was really the pain of change was less than the pain of staying the same. So when I figured this out, I just continued to grow, and I continued to just keep going to the gym, just keep coming and keep going, right? And it was just right in my basement. It was so easy. And at the time also, I was pretty big into boxing, like boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? I'd be hitting the bag. We had a speed bag down there. We still do. Go crazy on that, but other than that, it was boxing and lifting. That's the only two things I did. I was still playing football at this time, but we weren't playing because of the COVID, and like we had practice, right? But the practice, it was just masks. Like, dude, we were wearing masks. I go home and lift, right? I would lift before practice. I didn't care about practice. Like, football was like second to me, right? It was really just lifting, and I did this up until probably about when the masks were like more optional, and this was more sophomore year. Now this is when I transferred, and I will not lie, transferring schools after you didn't really know people like my freshman year at my original school, and I transferred to this other school, it was like 2 years of, it was really like 3 years of not really being around people. So it was really weird being in like full-time school with people I don't know. A lot of these kids grew up together. A lot of these kids knew each other. A lot of these kids have been playing football. I dived right into that, and I played football my sophomore year. And basically what happens with that is I love football and I love lifting. And lifting gets stronger because I'm still somewhat of a beginner. Lifting gets stronger, my football gets better, and it was really rough in there for a little while. I'm not gonna lie. I was really using the weights as a way out while I was playing football. But yeah, it was a really rough patch for a little while there in the transfer process. But once I fit in, man, this is one of like the best times of my life, right? We just got done with football. I'm lifting in the weight room. The coach was pretty chill about it too, right? He knew like if I gotta do my stuff, I gotta do my stuff because he knew that I wanted to like start powerlifting and just stuff like that. And at the time, you didn't need a specific gym. I was deadlifting like 500 pounds. It's 5 bumper plates, it bends the bar a little bit more. Who cares? But this was like really a great time, and it was really a great time where I started to understand like all my work has actually paid off. I remember we were testing maxes. It was sophomore year, like right after, and it was a 3 rep max on squat. I'd done 405 for 5 with my dad, and I squatted knee wraps at the time. Just a green PR knee wraps. That's why me being a part of Team PR, that's just like, it's another thing where it's just like, man, life will take you where life will take you, right? Like, I've been a fan of Larry Wheels since I was a little kid. That's another one of the reasons I got into it. And now I'm on Team PR. Like, I'm the Team PR, you know what I'm saying? So, well, I'm not Team PR, but I'm on the Team PR. I'm part of the Team PR. I made it on Larry Wheels' page. And so, it's just really crazy to think, like, that's where life will take you. But, yeah, I squatted this 405 for 3, and it was 2 reps less than my max. I had more in me. We had, like, a 3-man spot. 2 of the kids didn't know what they were doing. But the guy behind me actually had known people at my first meet, and this guy was amazing. I think his name was Adam. I still have him on Instagram. I still think he's able to keep up with me. Yeah, but lifting and talking to this guy, he wasn't super strong or anything like that, but he knew a lot about it. And he was a trainer there. I think he wrote the programs. He just kind of hung out, a quieter guy, but awesome, super awesome guy, right? Like, this was another like literally God sent relationship that was formed through powerlifting. So I hit this 405 for 3. I turn around, the whole freaking football team is right there behind me, going crazy. Like, this transfer, right? So I knew people, but I was on JV the sophomore year because like transfer rules, I couldn't really play any varsity. But I mean, I turn around and everyone's going crazy. People are like literally going nuts. Like, they've never seen somebody squat like 405. I mean, maybe they have like seen the upperclassmen, but like, yo, this just like this walk-in sophomore weighing 210 pounds just squatted 405 for 3, right? They're going nuts. They couldn't believe it. And so that was like really like my first statement that I made to myself. It's never about other people. It's never like, oh yeah, I showed them that I'm this big guy. No, but that was really like my first statement to myself. Like, wow, I'm pretty impressive, like, to myself. I was like, wow, like, all this kind of paid off, and people can see this and recognize it and respect me. Same thing with bench. I hit like 295. I missed a 3rd rep, but there's another bigger guy on the team, awesome dude as well. We had some great friendly competition there for a while, and but seeing like I could keep up with him, people really respected that, and they really thought that it was cool, and that was just so awesome, like, feeling inside, right? Like, if you compare, I hate to like dig on people that are like into money, because of course I want to be rich, of course I want nice things, whatever, but if you're trying to show off to someone, right, like it's purely a measuring contest, right? And somebody pulls up in a Ferrari, and then somebody pulls up in a nicer Ferrari, and then somebody pulls up in a Bugatti, but hold on, which one of those is more impressive? Because the guy who pulled up in the original Ferrari got it all by himself, but the guy who pulled up in the nicer Ferrari, parents had a little bit of money, but the guy who pulled up in the Bugatti, his parents just basically gifted him that Bugatti, but he still has the Bugatti. So how do you tell, right? No, that's not the case with lifting. With lifting, it is, no, your parents didn't gift you nothing. You didn't get none of this. You got it on your own. And so I felt like it was so like built by me. And I love that fact that I could just control, like, you have 100% control of your lifts. How strong you are, your physique, your body, that is all you. There is nothing that anybody can give you that can make that better, right? Now, somebody can give you steroids. It's stupid. That's off task. Or that's off the topic, right? I'm just talking about what you craft is purely done by you. There's no, you can't walk in and just get plastic surgery that can make you stronger. Like, you can't just wake up one day, like, hope and pray and just squat 700 pounds. It doesn't happen. Like, you have to get that on your own. And when I found that feeling out, and I found that people really respected that, it was just such an amazing feeling to me that it was just another, like, pure sign that I want to just keep going with this. And so the sophomore year, I'm grinding like crazy. And my dad finally looks at me and he tells me, Blake, you're like so freaking strong, but if you don't do anything with this, it's not going to do anything for you. And that was an eye-opener, right? It was like, whoa, Dad, like what you mean there? Like, if I don't do anything with this, like I'm strong. Like, wait, he's like, yeah, but you're not really getting anything out of this. Let's get you in a contest. Like, look for a contest. You know, my happy, lazy, whatever, doesn't really look for a contest. And then comes up a month later. So you got me my contest that I'm gonna get you to? And I'm like, and my dad's like, you need to do something with this. You have God-given strength. You need to do something with this. And you know, he's getting annoyed at me, seriously. And I think that like flipped the switch in me where I was like, all right, I need to go out and reach out. You know, I'm 15. I'm not a little boy. I can't just have my mommy and daddy figure out everything for me. And so how did I find my first powerlifting meet? I messaged this dude named Damian Gynak. Gynak, I don't know. Maybe you guys have heard of him. Huge bench press. I'd followed him for years. And you know what this absolutely great dude did? He responded to me. He said, hey, man, I'm doing this meet. I was like, oh, how do I do it? And he's like, what do you mean, like do the meet that I'm doing? I was like, yeah, if that'd be okay, like how would I do it? He sends me the link to the meet. It's in Michigan, about 4.5 hours away from me. Signed up, boom, I'm in my first meet. Literally in my first meet. If Damien didn't supply me that meet, if Damien wasn't such like a great just freaking influencer, like everybody should look up to be like an influencer the way Damien was, right? Here's this kid messaging him, having no clue who I was, right? He told me, oh yeah, this is a meet I'm doing. And boom, look, I would have never gotten into powerlifting meets had it not been for that, right? So I go to this meet. It is the freaking best. Rochester Performance Gym in Michigan. If you want to do a great meet and you're in the Michigan area, Rochester Performance Gym. Boom, done, no debate, right? Crocs Gym as well. Also, same people, same great group. Boom, right? They're kind of close, kind of far. It's about 45 minutes away, whatever. But those two gyms, right? But my first gym, Rochester Performance Gym. And this was just amazing to me. There was these big, bad dudes that were looking at me and like, they're like, yeah, he's pretty strong. And like, I had actually like guys like who lifted this much weight, like look at me saying that I look pretty strong. I couldn't believe it. And the person who first gave me any real advice, and I'd never been to a gym before. I've never seen anybody bench more than me in person at this point. It was my first meet. I was benching almost 315, right? It was really close to 315. I came home and I hit 315 for two. But like I'd never seen anybody stronger than me in person, right? Crazy to think about. Literally crazy to think about. Never seen anybody stronger than me in person. And I go to this meet and I see these guys literally, you know, a lot of them are equipped and stuff, lifting like 700 pounds. I'm like, what? And these guys were so freaking nice. And my back spotter, Skylar Brandt, strongest, or he held this title for a while, strongest teen, regardless of weight class, right? He had like some monster 2100 total, I think it was. And this monster of a dude, super nice, helped me out, right? He helped me out. He walked back there and he just told me like, yeah, man, I'm going to help center you up, whatever. And you know, I'm super scared in the back room asking for weights and stuff. This guy, Skylar, he told people like, hey, he needs to get in. Like, he needs to get in. Like, I'm a scared 15-year-old kid, literally. Like, yeah, I was still a bigger 15-year-old, right? I probably looked older than I was, but it was freaking scary. Damien was at that meet too, did the same thing. And that meet was amazing. I went 7-9, got all my squats, missed my third bench. People were cheering for me, super, super fun to be around. And it was just the best first meet I could ever ask for. So fast forward a little bit, my parents get me into my first USAPL meet. And now this was a bad experience. I would say this was actually a genuinely bad experience. I'm not going to give too many details of this, but it was bad. It was making me think like, oh, I actually only want to compete in Michigan. I don't really want to do this. And the reason I did this meet is so I could qualify for high school nationals. And one second. Oh, my bad, last talking. But the reason I did this meet is so I could qualify for high school nationals. And so when I did this meet, I thought that it was gonna be like same way. It was nothing like the same way. I saw a bunch of weak dudes, extremely cocky. Or looking back at them, they're weak, right? Like at the time, they were stronger than me, but like extremely cocky guys, like you know, big cults, like didn't care to talk to the kid. Just stupid meat, to be honest. Ran like crap too. Not gonna name drop. That's it. But yeah, it was not my favorite meet. I wasn't kind of torn about powerlifting at that point, but I still followed through and I went to USAPL High School Nationals. And it was still training in my training in the freaking in the school gym, training in my basement. You know, I still didn't have a gym membership. And when I finally get to this high school nationals, I win high school nationals at JV level off of like a final freaking pull, RP 11. That adrenaline, that stage, everything about that just secured, like, I knew that I was gonna do this, right? Like, I knew that this was like meant for me. So I come back, everybody's super happy for me. It was amazing, right? And powerlifting had never been better for me. And now we're gonna fast forward into me missing 565 deadlift probably 5 days in a row, like back to back to back to back. I failed 565 strapped deadlift bar deadlift, back to back to back to back to back. And finally, this senior on the football team, one of my best friends, his older brother, he texts me. He's like, you know, dude, you're super freaking strong, but how about we get you to a powerlifting gym? So my dad drove me after school. I was literally in my polo. I walk in this gym. I see this guy named Nick Smith lifting like 400 something pounds, slams it on the ground. I'm like, dang, you know, like, oh shoot, this is pretty serious, right? And you know, they said there's two coaches here, Zoe and Bert. I ended up having Bert help me out a good bit. Awesome working with him. And then also on my tour the first time, right? This was like the original gym. There's been two gyms since. They split off. That's a whole different topic. Why my gym split off. I can make that into a video. But I met this guy named Yanni. And literally one of the first things this guy says to me, he's like, I'm Yanni, nice to meet you. And I just shake his hand and he goes, oh, and you got earrings, sweet. I don't know why that stuck with me, but it was such a Yanni thing to say, oh, you got earrings, sweet. This was right after his quad tear that I had met him. Literally, I guess it was like 2 months after his quad tear, right? So like right after. So I guess I didn't really understand what monster this was. I didn't understand like anything like that, but yeah, you know, I start coming to this gym. It's going great. This guy's helping me. This guy named Bert helped me get super strong. I go to another meet in the summer of June. Set a freaking world record, 14:15 world record that I really didn't think I was going to get. 2:42, 14:15 world record. Still got that thing too, by the way. But yeah, I was super freaking happy. Lifting's like going better than it ever could. I got a gym, I got support, everything, right? What could go wrong? Well, we roll into next football season. No, I don't get hurt. I had a great season. I balled out. What happened with that football season, though? High school nationals right after, right? So I had this meet that was in January, right? After the football season. Football season was good, actually. We did pretty good. Going to this meet, it was almost impossible to get my lifts back for this meet. Almost impossible. I'm working like beyond belief. My hips are so freaking tight that I can't pull sumo. I think I ended up pulling sumo somehow. I pulled 600 during the season. I pulled 605 hitched like a few months off of the season, and I was super thrilled to just be back in the green. But really, my progress was stalled. Like, I was like at the same spot for months now, months and months and months. And so I go to this meet. This meet was good. Had a fun time with this meet. And then it was time for high school nationals. I still had my qualifying total from the year before. Myrtle Beach. This is actually a really hard topic for me to think about, to be honest. This sucked. This was honestly, this was like one of the hardest things I've ever dealt with, and I don't even know why. It really wasn't that freaking deep. But I lost. I got third place. And this was in the varsity, but it was by a kid that was like same age as me. I guess he was like a year older or something. He was totaling like 1,400 since the time I was totaling 1,000. But yeah, that freaking hurt. I don't know why it hurt so bad. Like I was literally crushed. Like it was really not that deep. Like it was not that deep. I was a junior. I went 4 of 9. It was not that bad. Like really, it was not that bad. I just had a bad day. But like I missed some crappy calls on depth. But I don't know why it just hurt so bad that I flipped the switch. I was basically crying in the back room. I told my dad, I need to be done with football. I need to be done with football. And yeah, I had to be done with football. And that's like when I made up my mind. And so I got back, I called the coach, and I basically told him, like, hey, I don't think I'm going to be playing anymore. Plot twist, 3 months later, D1 offer for football. All right, I'm back on the team. I go to the practices for like 2-3 times. I'm like, never mind, I don't want to do this anymore. So I call him back. I'm like, I thought I want to do it just because of the offer, but I can't be gaslit by like an offer or whatever. It wasn't like he didn't get me the offer or anything, but like I was feeling gaslit by the offer to play again. I was just like, it really wasn't for me. So we get to the summer, and everyone's telling me like, wow, you're not playing football your senior year. Like, man, you're going to regret this. But I'm like, bro, I freaking hate football after what it did to me. And like, it didn't do anything for me. It wasn't the reason that I lost. The kid that I lost to was also a football player. But I wholeheartedly felt that the reason I lost was because of football. So I didn't play. I literally didn't play. And so we're going to go into literally my villain arc here. No joke. I told myself that if I'm not the strongest, baddest freaking dude, I am going to have regret this decision so bad. So I don't miss an hour of sleep. I don't miss a lift. I don't miss a meal. I don't miss a calorie. I don't miss anything. There's no distractions. There's nothing. Everything is gone. I go to school. I come home. I eat and I lift. I go to school. I come home. I eat and I lift. I sleep 8 hours every freaking day. I'm dedicated beyond belief. I go to USAPL. This was Open Nationals. I won my weight class, and I hear about this kid that may be potential competition at Nationals. And oh my goodness, the fire was on then. This kid was stronger than me for a little while. I would say he was definitely stronger than me. And this lit a fire under me like I can't explain. I remember I was like, man, it's just time to squat PR. So my squat PR was 628 at the time. I wake up for 3 weeks straight at 4 in the morning, literally 4 in the morning, just so hungry for this that I was doing my program. Like I'm getting emotional right now. Like I'm putting myself back in these shoes, right? I'm doing my program at 4 in the morning, my handwritten program. And then finally this one week, I'm like, all right, it's time to squat 645. I go to my gym. There's nobody there because friend Yanni was gone. So like a bunch of other people are gone. I'm like, shoot. Call up some of my friends from school, football kids, really. I was like, yo, can I go squat at Christoph? He's a super cool guy, conjugate guy. He's got a gym. It's like 40 minutes. I was like, yo, can I go squat there? Cool. Go up there. They said, sure. So I was like, cool. Go up there, hit 645 on squat. Right? I got it. It was pretty freaking easy. I couldn't believe it. 2 weeks passed. I'm like, this kid's still gapping. This kid's still got something on me. 661. It's time to squat 300 kilos. Squat 300 kilos. Got it. Boom. A couple more weeks. I was like, sorry, it was 1 week after 661. I was like, all right, I think I'm gonna squat like 585 for like big rep PR. I hit squat 585, and Yanni goes to me, he's like, 675 would look pretty cool when you got the pound plates out. I'm like, dude, chill. I hit 585, and I was like, okay, rack it. I was like, all right, I'll do 625 to see how I feel, to see if I have 675. Killed 625. I was like, dude, we're going 675. We go for 675, got it. I literally jumped from 628 to 675 in like, I think it was like 6 weeks of nonstop freaking just like adrenaline, gas, go, boom, boom, boom. And it was at this point that I knew, I was like, I'm going to make my old self proud. I'm not going to lose this nationals. I'm not going to do nothing. But all these videos are in the vault, right? I don't post none of these videos. I've done this before, just hide some stuff. Videos I was posting were true. They were actually what I was lifting, but I wasn't posting much just because it was posts. I wasn't posting much, right? Simple. Because I really thought that we were that close. And I tried 705 the week after, which is 6 reds. Got absolutely crushed, right? This is less than a year ago now. This is like 8 months ago. And so I'm about 4 months out. I get into my final arc, and I'm talking to my parents. I'm like, man, like, I really don't want to compete against this kid. He knows that I've gotten stronger, but he hasn't seen everything that I got, right? What do we do, right? So should I drop all these videos, try to make him move a weight class, and know that because he was right on the border. He was right on the border of weight classes. I was like, should I drop all these videos, make him run? Or not make him run, but maybe make him just like go down, which would probably be smarter. And that's what I do. And he does go down, right? Because it was just smarter for both of us. He didn't go down because he was running, because he could have stayed up and it would have been a freaking dogfight anyways. But But, you know, he's like, oh, shoot, the kid down there is, like, a lot weaker. Why wouldn't I just go down and we could just both win, right? And so, yeah, that's what we did. And he went down, and I ended up having a crappy meet. I think he had a pretty crappy meet, too. Love competing against him, though. Ended up, my peak lifts, that prep was like 705 squat, 680 dead, 458 bench, something like that. Meet day, absolutely terrible. None of those happened. Right, I went 5 of 9. I don't know why. I just have a tendency to sell nationals. We're gonna hopefully. Well, I've broken it once, but hopefully we're gonna break it again this year. Yeah, I don't know why I sold that, but I cut weight, which probably was part of the problem. And but yeah, I ended up winning best lifter, and I was pretty happy about that. Best heavyweight lifter. But yeah, I was super happy about that. And then the time comes as where I'm looking at this number in my phone maybe every single day of my life, and it's 1857, 1857, 1857. I'm like, I feel like I could beat this. That's the biggest total done by a 17-year-old ever. I'm like, I feel like I could really beat this. So time happens, training happens, and boom. What happens? I beat the number by 5 pounds. I beat it literally the next jump up. They weren't going to ship it. I mean, this is like a local meet that I ended up doing this at. Another great meet, Crocs Gym, right? Third year doing that meet in a row. And yeah, you know, all that had worked, everything had came out, and boom, I had become the strongest 17-year-old ever, regardless of weight class. So yeah, and then, you know, I would know that I'm going to college here probably about February of that year. And now we're kind of just up to where we are now, right? And so that's really my story. I thought about making this video for the longest time. Obviously, I could give more details in certain places, but I got to my 40-minute mark, and that's where I was estimating this video was going to take. At the end there, I started talking too much, so I could make more videos like this, but I really just want to make at least just this one talking about how I actually got to being strong, how I got to being the strongest 17-year-old ever, the background story, my story, just things like that, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this story. You know, it's pretty personal to me, so I'd appreciate it if you just drop a like, subscribe, and comment what you want to see next. Comment what you thought about this, right? This is really deep to me, like I said. So yeah, that's probably going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, like I said, super long video. If you stay to the end, you're the best. But yeah, Blake Went signing out.